What up guys, it's Drama for Life here today and I'm back with another video. Now today's video we're going to be reviewing season 5 of Cobra Kai. Now I just finished the season. I watched it at midnight yesterday when it dropped out, and then I finished the rest of it today, so that's why I'm uploading a little bit later. I just want to mainly focus on this because I want to get this video out as soon as possible. I absolutely love Cobra Kai. I made a couple of videos in the past. You guys can go check it out on my channel, where I talked a little bit about Cobra Kai. I was talking about, the last fights they had from season 4, and sadly by the time I made my channel, season 4 was well past, so I didn't have the time to make videos. Like, I could make videos on season 4, but the time passed quite a bit, so I did have a couple of videos there, but it was just, it wasn't modern time. So I was really waiting for this season to drop out, because this is going to be my first review of this season, and all of us as Cobra Kai fans have been dying to see what's going to happen next with the season, what direction they're going to go with, all the stuff that has happened from the last season. So yeah, but before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to Demetria 1984. I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name, but big thank you to you for subscribing to my channel. Yeah, so this season, is it the best season of all of Cobra Kai? Yes, I mean, I've literally put it in the title, but yeah, this is I just finished watching right now, like literally not that long ago, maybe 10-20 minutes ago. This season was by far the best. Now I'm going to go through some of the stuff that's happened in the season. I'm not going to give a full-on overview and synopsis throughout all the episodes, because let's be honest, there's 10 episodes, though that's not that much. These episodes round up to like 40 minutes, over 40 minutes, so that's quite a bit of amount of story to be telling, and there's a lot of intricacies with this season, especially with the twists and turns they went. Though I will say this season, one thing I really appreciated about it was the fact that it felt a lot different than the last seasons, and they did a lot of other stuff that was different, and they gave us some definitive answers to stuff that we wanted to know for a while. Usually, mainly, who would win in a fight. That was the big thing that we as fans have been wondering. Who's the strongest in Cobra Kai, in the Cobra Kai series? Who is the best fighter? This and that. So we got that. We also got a little bit of a resolution between Miguel and Robbie and stuff, and we got a lot of closure between the characters and their problems. But one thing I did not expect for the season was to see so many twists and turns and changes between people's perceptive of karate and martial arts and this situation, because a lot of characters in this season switched over their beliefs. Some were like, yeah, fighting is bad, we should avoid it. Then they're like, no, actually it's good. And then the others changed. And then some were like, we should take down Terry Silver. And then they're like, no, we shouldn't take down Terry Silver, he's none of our business. So there's a lot of back and forth between their mentality, which I do respect, because it didn't show everybody as completely being tunnel vision, except for, if I'm being honest, except for Chosen. Chosen was the only one that had a primary directive, and he went with it throughout the entire season, because we had Daniel saying we need to take down Terry Silver throughout the entire thing, and he was working with Chosen, though sometimes he was a little bit offhandsy with it. But then at one point when he fought him, after that he was like, you know what, it's not worth it, let's not do this. But Chosen was just like, yes, we have to do this, we still have to do this. And Johnny didn't want to do it in first, but once when he started thinking about it more, he's like, yeah, I should get into it. Amanda especially, she was the biggest one against it, which I get it, it was reasonable why she didn't want to deal with this. But Chosen was the only one with his mentality on what we should do, never change it, which that's what I really respect about him. Also, I'll say this, he was my favorite character throughout the season. I really loved him when they first introduced him, and I especially love him in this season with all the showing of him. He's just a great character. But let's get into the story a bit. Now, the first 2 episodes is basically Miguel going to Mexico to find his dad, and we know Miguel's dad's a cartel, leader and stuff, but he doesn't know that. So now it's like, okay, he's going to a place that he doesn't, know very well. He's gonna meet a man he doesn't know and thinks is, a regular dude, not knowing that he's actually a bad guy, and he doesn't know. So it's like, what are you supposed to do? And then we have like Johnny going down there with Robbie, and we have the whole situation with Robbie, he still has problems with Miguel that isn't issued out, and he just reconciled with his father. So going down there, it's not really the best, but at least they're not against each other too much. It's just Robbie saying, hey, I don't really want to deal with this guy. So there's that. And when I first saw the trailers and stuff, and they were saying they're going to Mexico and stuff, I was just hoping that they don't waste half of the season with just Miguel there and them trying to get him back, because I felt like this show has only 10 episodes, so if they waste half of it just doing that, it would have been a big waste. Luckily for us, it's only 2 episodes. The first and second episode is where we deal with it, and then after that, he's back by the 3rd episode. Now, some of you might say, well, that's like 20% of the show, because it was like, the first 2 episodes, since there's only 10 episodes of the season. But trust me, after you see those first 2 episodes where he comes back, and they're not bad episodes, but you just want to see him come back and all the other stuff. After he comes back and everything else happens, you're gonna forget about it. You're gonna be fine with it. That's how I felt. So yeah, I was happy. I think that was a great direction choice. Yes, you can give Miguel this whole other story and go with stuff that's just not just always fighting, but you shouldn't mainly focus on it. That was one thing I was really nervous about when the season was announced and the trailer was shown. Was I was assuming that they're gonna probably waste too much time there. I was like, please don't. I want to see Johnny's interaction with Chosen and Chosen's with his, and then see Mike Barnes and stuff. Which some of you guys are wondering, did Mike Barnes show up in the season? And I'm gonna spoil it for you because I want to talk about everything in the season. Though I already put a spoiler warning for the title, so don't be complaining saying, "Oh, you're spoiling this shit." It's like, I don't need to warn you in the video when the title says it in there, okay? So, but yeah, what's the called? Mike Barnes does show up, which I was happy. They did avoid putting him in, the trailers and stuff like that. So I appreciate that. And his direction changed. People assumed that he was gonna help out Terry Silver. No, he had nothing to do with that. But yeah, the whole him dealing with his dad. At first, I thought the guy that he met, like Hector Miguel, I thought he was, just getting it wrong. I was like, there's a ton of Mexican guys with the name Hector. Come on, let's be honest. But he was the guy, and he seemed like a nice, good dude. But then we see later on how he's acting and stuff. How he's acting towards him, wondering if he's like one of the people. And it was funny that he thought his guy thought that Johnny and Robbie were FBI agents because of the female body inspector shirt, which it was just hilarious. But then it also turned serious for him. But yeah, the first 2 episodes was just basically Miguel trying to find his dad, trying to deal with that, dealing with him going to Mexico, basically getting ripped off, being in a dangerous situation. Then Johnny and Robbie trying to look for him and doing stuff like Robbie doing the pepper challenge, which I absolutely loved. I thought that was a great thing between him and his dad, and him and his dad talking about all the stuff they did and like the bad stuff, and also Johnny telling Robbie that, hey, I was looking for you. Me and Daniel were looking for you hard. We found the car and then we went to the place we got in a fight in a chop shop, and it gave him more of a perspective of what was happening, because in his mind he was like, you guys don't care, you're not doing this, you care more about Miguel. But he was willing to put himself in such dangerous situations. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people hated about season 3 of Cobra Kai. They felt like a lot of situations happened where if it was explained a little bit more, if it was explained better, it could have been resolved and a lot of stuff could have been avoided, which I agree too. That's why I like season 4, because season 4, it had stuff like that, but it tried to avoid it. It wasn't, trying to do it. But season 5 really went through that. And that's what I love about this season so much and why I rate it so highly, because this season they had stuff where in the season 3 they said dumb stuff happened, dumb stuff that should have never happened. But this season they made amends, and a lot of people that didn't know what happened got to reveal more what happened, and they got to understand more of the other person. So he understood what his dad was doing. Yes, he cares about Miguel, but he gives a damn about him too. So it's not just like it's a one-sided thing, and he's understanding a little more. And then we get to the the MMA fighting thing, which I thought was cool. You know how I feel about it. I felt when I talked about it in the trailer, I was like, what? Let's be honest. An MMA guy versus just pure karate guy, that's not going to work out well. Though he did get help with Robbie, with the pepper and stuff. And I like seeing him work with his son. Just him making more of a bond and no real back and forth fighting. I was just, that's one of the things that I was worried about. I was like, are they really going to still do this? But nope. They put that all under the bridge. It's done with now, thankfully. But yeah, they did that. We have Daniel there with Chosen. He's worrying about him how to take down, Terry Silver. Terry Silver is, building it up more. Tori is fighting against, her morals, conscious, like we cheated and stuff. And we have a bunch of stuff happening. He's trying to bring his other senses and stuff. That was really cool. Then seeing Daniel work with Chosen to get Mike Barnes and stuff. I love that, because you have Daniel thinking that Mike Barnes is the bad guy, but no, he's just running a regular furniture shop. He's a normal guy. He even says like, yeah, when that happened, I went down a bad path, but I got better. My wife's father, he helped me to use these hands for more than just, hurting people. And it did remind me of Chosen and actually Johnny. All the people that Daniel dealt with, afterwards their lives turned horrible, but they dealt with it differently. Like Johnny, he just let it consume him, and waited until he was like in his 50s and stuff, had bad relationship with his, son, bad with his ex-wife, and then, had a shitty job and stuff, and then he tried to make amends and fix up stuff later on in his life. But it's like, he took quite a while to do so. Whereas Chosen, he felt great shame of what he did, and to the point where he was depressed. He hated himself for what he did and stuff. But he was able to get over it and change as a person. And we saw that in season, I think it was 3. We saw how he changed as a person, how he got better, and we were just rooting for him at that point. And Mike Barnes seems to be going the same journey as Chosen was, where he felt lost. He felt like desolate in his life, but he found purpose, and he found it through another means. So those 3 characters have a lot of things in common. They were the bad boys. They were the guys that were antagonists. They were guys that went down the wrong path, lost to Daniel, went down a depressing road, but then came up from it. Just differently how they handled it out. Chosen went from he was about to end himself to no, there's more to life, and I want to be a sensei. Mike Barnes went from, I can do more than just fight. I can also build things. And Johnny, it took him a while. It took him quite a bit of while compared to the other 2. But once when he came around, now he had developed better as a person. So I also appreciate that. But yeah, that was cool. But then Chosen jumps in, and he thinks Daniel and him are fighting, even though they're just playing around. And he just... This part was hilarious. He takes him down. He stomps and is like, oh no, what are you doing? Don't hurt him. He's cool. He's a good guy. And even Daniel's trying to stop him. He's fighting. And then they stop. He's like, oh, this couch stuff you think is nice? Yeah, $1,200 for it, but for you, I'll make it $2,000. He's like, and then he's like, I heard your guys and stuff. You got to carry the couch and stuff. So that was just great. We got to see Mike Barnes. We got to see he changed. So he's not going to be on Terry Silver's side. He's obviously doesn't want to deal with him. He's like, yeah, that guy's a fucking crazy dude. But I was wondering, I was like, are they going to put him later on the show? They did, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, they had that. I love the relationship between Chosen and Daniel. Chosen was 100% on board. Daniel was 100% trusting him and relying on him. He was just such a good guy, and he was basically also being the bodyguard. He's like, I'll defend this house against him. I will not let him jump in this house and hurt any of you guys again. So basically, he took the bodyguard role. I was thinking bodybuilder for some reason, but a bodyguard role to protect him from any harms from them, and then. He tries to infiltrate his thing, and I expected like maybe a couple episodes it was gonna last. Nope, it lasted like 1 episode. He found out because he made a toast. What's his name? Terry Silver gave him some Japanese whiskey, and he made a toast, but he made it from the Okinawa toast instead of from the mainland where he said he was from Tokyo. So he kind of found out, and he found out it was Chosen. So he got exposed. Then we had the new villain coming in. I forgot what her name was. She was basically the granddaughter of the guy who trained Kreese and what's the thing called? Terry Silver, and he was a South Korean martial arts teacher, and he taught them basically the ways of Cobra Kai, of no mercy and stuff. And the cool stuff about this was, one, this character was actually mentioned in Cobra Kai 3 by Terry Silver, and he just thought it was like him making bullshit up. 2, Chosen knew about him. He said that his uncle also knew. The only person who didn't know was Miyagi because he left, after World War II, and that happened in the Korean War when he came there and started training American soldiers. So we got a little more backstory. We got that. We got the connections, and she was there, so she has that. She brings in her guys, her other senseis, where 2 of them you might know if you watch UFC. Tyron Woodley, where he had most of the screen time compared to the others, and then Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who was mainly in the background with a scar, but those 2 guys are legit martial artists. They both use karate. They're both in MMA. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson actually has videos on Cobra Kai, making like reviews and like analysis videos on their fights and stuff, which are very dope. It was cool to see them too. Also, I'm mentioning them specifically for the fact that I will be dropping out MMA/UFC videos on my channel, since on October there's going to be Islam Makhachev versus what's his name, Charles Oliveira. They're going to have their fight, which is going to be a big fight. I might cover it. I might talk about the fight on who wins. I think Islam Makhachev is going to win, but Charles Oliveira can win because, who knows. But yeah, I'm just going off a little bit on a tangent because I just want you guys to know that in the future I will be dropping off some UFC videos. So if you guys wondering what the hell happened, just know that this is where it started from. But yeah, going back, she got hers. They got new threats. They got new enemies. we have Amanda, and we have the whole situation with Daniel trying to expose what's his name. He's trying to expose Terry Silver and stuff to get him out, but he basically makes him look bad. He kind of ruins a little bit of Daniel's marriage, getting his wife gone. And this is where I mean by they have a lot of back and forth. She doesn't want to deal with them and stuff. There's many characters that have their own situations they deal with, and so many problems. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I can't go through everything, so I'm just gonna go through some of the main stuff that I really liked about this season. Or some stuff that they did that I liked. Sam, I think they handled her far better this season than last season. Last season, she was getting on my nerves. She was being very petty. She was being very obnoxious with, the whole Tori thing. She was taught by her other friend, Aisha, saying, hey, look, you should get over and make friends with her. And then she took that message completely the wrong way. She said, yep, this means I should threaten her and, whatever. And I get it, but still, I didn't like that about her. But in this season, she got better. She was like more of level-headed. She was even like, karate's ruined my life and stuff like that. I'm gonna avoid it. And some people might not like the decision, but I respect it. I'm not saying that she was right, because she does learn on later on that it is necessary. But it was good for her character development to be like, let me take a step away from karate and try to reevaluate who I am as a person and try to get my life in order. And then also her coming back to karate and realizing that it's not the problem, it's just how you use the karate in situations. Because I think the main focal point you should get from this season is what they explain is karate is not the problem, martial arts is not the problem, it's how you use it. A lot of these people use it through violence, through what's the thing called Cobra Kai. They prioritize violence first, talking it out. Whereas in real life, you can't deal with every situation with fighting. I still think fighting and violence is necessary, but that should be a last option, and that should be, it shouldn't be viable in every situation. But she learns that more, so I like that. Amanda, we have the whole back and forth with her. I understand her position, but luckily she gets on board with it and gets, fine. We have Johnny, who's distant. Makes sense. He also has a kid on the way, so he has a kid with Carmen. Now this means that Miguel and Robbie are going to be basically kind of like stepbrothers, and they're going to have a half brother. Miguel and Robbie are both having a half brother or sister, but they're having a half sibling coming into the fold, which is going to be cool. What's the thing called? Terry Silver was completely villainous. He was like a cartoon villain at some points. He was like a comic book villain, but I absolutely loved it. I love how crazy he went. Some directions they went in the season, I did not expect them to go. I absolutely loved it. So we had that, but let's talk about some of the stuff that I really want to talk about. Let's talk about the whole Miguel versus Robbie fight. Now, there's two things that came from this fight. One, we finally have these two guys getting over their beef and reconciling with each other and being cool with each other, which they didn't hint at anything that there might be a problem like what they did with Daniel and Johnny. They seem to be completely cool, which I absolutely loved. But also, we got a definitive answer who would win in a fight. And I'm not talking about a karate fight with point base. I don't like that. An official fight. They got into a fight. They went up to the rail. It was getting dangerous. Johnny sanctioned it, but now he was like, oh, it's too dangerous. Miguel had Robbie in the corner. He was hitting him hard, and he could have knocked him over. He was envisioning the stuff that he did to him in season 2, but he didn't. He showed him mercy. He's like, why did you do that? He's like, I didn't learn karate to hurt people. I just want to be a badass and stuff. And he's like, yeah, me too. So they became cool. So we got the definitive answer. Miguel is the stronger of the two. We seen him beat him in the first tournament, even though he was injured, so it was kind of an unfair advantage. Then we seen him win in the second fight in season 2 when the school, even though he won definitively. What's the name? Robbie ended it. It was through a means of mercy where he showed him mercy, and that's why. But you could also make the argument that he was getting jumped by a bunch of other people and he was like in a rage. So yeah, that one's kind of iffy too. But this time, this was the third fight, official full-on fight, and we got the official definition. Yes, it's definitely Miguel. Miguel is stronger than Robbie. At this point, Robbie, I haven't seen him win any real major fight. He's won like minor fights. He beat Hawk the first time, but that time Hawk was not really the big thing. He became more of a big thing towards last season. But yeah, he lost against Miguel the first season. He lost to Miguel the second season. He lost to what's his name, Hawk the fourth season, and then he lost to Miguel again this season. So Robbie is a powerful character, but compared to those three, I would say he would be a little bit lower because he lost, and he lost and admitted fair and square to what's his name, Hawk. But then again, Hawk and him can go back and forth, but definitively Miguel was the stronger, which made me, it would suck for me because I know a lot of people don't like Robbie, but personally I like him as a character. But yeah, he lost definitively. There's no argument I can say against it. He lost 100% in a full-on fight, not a tournament thing. He lost in a 100% fight. So yeah, he lost, but it's fine because these two guys are cool now. They're cool with each other. They became friends. Even Hawk and Dimitri like, are you gonna be cool? And Dimitri's like, that guy's an asshole. He's like, no, we're cool, we're fine. And he was even fine with him talking to Sam. So that 100% show, because he was laughing with her, and he was like, no, it's okay. They're just, being friendly. There's nothing to get mad about. And we do have a little bit of a pushback between, what's his name, Robbie and Hawk. When Hawk was like, this guy's, you're an asshole. He's an asshole. He's like, are you kidding me? And he was listing off all the other stuff that he did, which is fair. Robbie did do some stuff wrong, but let's be honest, Hawk did way more. But luckily, Dimitri stopped that. And at that point, all these guys became cool with each other. It was no longer Robbie versus Miguel, or Robbie versus Hawk, or Hawk versus, Dimitri, even though they settled last season. But there was no more of that infighting between them. They all got cool. And after that, they seemed all cool. Some people might say, well, that's a little too quick. Personally, I get the whole Miguel and, and a Robbie thing, why people might think that. But the reason why I think it's perfectly fine is I've seen from my life, I've had that problems multiple times where I've dealt with somebody that I absolutely hated, they hated me. We fought for months in school, and at one time we just got one big fight, and we got it all over, and, we became friends. So it happens. Sometimes you just need one big definitive fight to end it all. But yeah, the fight started escalating before that with the whole water park scene, with Kenny, trying to beat up Daniel's son again, which I forget what his name is. But yeah, at this point, Kenny was just being an asshole. If I'm being honest, this entire season, Kenny pissed me off. He was just annoying. The only character that I didn't like was him. He was just always interjecting himself into stuff. And I get it, what Daniel's son did was wrong, but he admitted it. He was like, I'm sorry. And he's like, I thought we were cool and stuff. You even beat me up. I let it go. And he would not let it go. And Robbie was trying to talk to him. He's like, no, do this. He was giving him attitude. And even Tori was like, fighting if she wanted to leave. But at least Tori wasn't as antagonistic. She was just, torn between two worlds. Whereas him, he was just being hard-headed. He didn't want to listen. But luckily for him, Robbie is such a nice guy and understands, what it does to you. He's like, I understand him, the problems he's going through. So we had all that scene. That was amazing. I love the new tournament, which is a world tournament. I thought that was cool because the Valley All Under 18 tournament, it mostly goes only to 18. And at this point, they're at that age, so they can't really do it again. But maybe next season, they might get into the world tournament where they fight people not only from the Valley, but other countries. You see some people from South Korea, some people from Germany, some people from China. That would be hella dope. We might even see Jaden Smith coming in as a sensei. But yeah, that was just cool. I like that. You got the silver bullet where, it was basically a punch like this, which what's his name used, Kenny used on Hawk. He actually beat Hawk. So yeah, that means that Kenny's stronger than Hawk. And stronger than Robbie. No, I'm joking. He got that one lucky move. He basically ended right there. But it's like, those moves are good, but like if they know it, then they'll be able to handle it. And then Sam won her fight. Tori left. She didn't want to deal with the cheating. She saw the cheating again with the ref. She won definitively against the other girl. And she finally got her payback and stuff. They're happy. They got into the tournament and stuff. Yeah, everybody's doing good. They're partying. But then Sam sees, Miguel's thing with the kissing and stuff, and then Tori comes, she explains it, and I was like, okay, that's cool. But then she got into a fight with her. I was like, I understand on both sides. Sam, she got screwed over, and it ruined her family's life a lot with Terry. But then again, it's like Tori, like what she was going through is like, but it was cool to see Robbie and Miguel working together because they helped mend the situation and made it better. Because usually throughout seasons, they would make this. Either one of them would ruin the situation and make it worse, but this time they were solid and they were, fixing the problem. And luckily everybody got better. Even Tori changed, switched sides, went with them. She's like, oh yeah, I'm against them. She admitted that stuff, all the stuff that we wanted to know got out. Also, we finally got to see a full-on fight against, Daniel versus Silver, and it showed definitively Silver was stronger than Daniel. He beat him. Because people were saying that he beat Johnny in last season because he blindsided him, whatever. But this time there was no blindsiding. It was face to face. He knew they got into a fight in Stingray's, apartment complex, and he definitively beat him. He gave him a black eye. He bruised him up and stuff. So this shows at this point Terry Silver is stronger than Johnny, stronger than Daniel. But still, we haven't seen him against Chosen, which we do see later on. There is so much. I know I'm going to be skipping and forgetting a lot because I don't want to make this video forever long. Because it was just so much and there's too much for me to remember anyway. But yeah, the final fight with the Mike Barnes coming back and taking them. I love that scene where he's just being a badass. There's so many videos I'm going to make. Just trust me. I'm going to make a ton of videos on this season. Different videos, because it's going to require a ton of videos. I want to talk about them all individually. Right now I'm just talking about it as a whole. The way they ended it and stuff, we thought Kreese is dead. He's not dead. We thought, Chosen was dead. He's not dead. Luckily, he was just hurt. I was like, please don't kill off Chosen. He was the best thing of the season. He was just amazing. He was just funny. He was just cool. He's just badass character. I was like, if they kill him off, they're going to really get rid of an amazing character. So, yeah. They had that fight. They took him down. He's going out to prison. Kreese got out of prison by, faking his death again. At this point, it's like, don't even think he's dead. Like, he's just going to get out. But, yeah, that was cool. We saw more about Kreese and him developing. Tori changing. You saw them changing. Kenny, towards the ending, changed. But, he still doesn't want to talk to Robbie for a while. I think he's just trying to get his head in order with what would happen. Now I just want to know what's going to happen next season. Like, how are they going to go next season? Is the new woman, I forgot what her name was, but is she going to take over, Cobra Kai since, he's in prison, and Kreese, he might just leave and pretend like he's dead and might show up somewhere else, but who knows. For right now, I think he's not going to be coming back to Cobra Kai anytime soon. But yeah, is she going to be taking over and they're going to go to the World Tournament, next season? I don't know. This season was just amazing. I think it was the best season. It had so much twists and turns, so many great characters. I love Mike Barnes. Chosen was the MVP of this season. Johnny was really great. Daniel had his own struggles, but he wasn't really annoying. Amanda, great character. Sam got a lot better. Tori changed and stuff. Kenny was an obnoxious douche. I don't like him. Kyle, obviously annoying. Robbie, Miguel, and Hawk, and Dimitri, all great characters. I think at this point, fans of, you're either on the side of Robbie or Miguel, usually Miguel, but they're on their side, and then it's usually also Hawk on that side, and they're against him. But I think at this point we're past that because the characters are cool with each other. There's no more real infighting between them. It's all fine. But yeah, this season was just amazing. I did not expect it to go some directions, like the whole shanking scene. I was like, I did not expect them to kill somebody like that. But nope, Kreese is not dead. Chosen, the fact that Terry Silver was that crazy that he was really willing to cut this man down to death. Also, let's talk about the other fights, okay? I want to talk about this. Terry Silver was stronger than Daniel and Johnny because he beat them, but not Chosen. Because when he was fighting against Chosen, yes, was he getting the upper hand at some point? But Chosen had the sight blade right to his neck and would have beaten him. But he heard the noise over there, and he was willing to give him mercy because he didn't want to kill him. He just wanted to show him that, hey, you lost. And he beat him definitively, but once he turned his back, he cut him in his back and took him down. And I was like, did he just kill Chosen? I swear to God, if he killed Chosen, I'm going to lose it. But luckily he didn't. He came back. But yeah, he was crazy this season. He set Mike Barnes' store on fire, ruined his life. Tried to get Daniel and Amanda broken, divorced. He ruined the relationship a little bit. Was trying to kill Chosen and stuff. Got Johnny completely destroyed and stuff by the other masters. It was just wild all around. But it was cool. And then we see how Tyron Woodley's finger getting cut off. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't expect that. But yeah, Chosen definitely won. And then Daniel's rematch, he won that one. But you can kind of argue that maybe Terry Silver was a little bit hurt. But from what I've seen from the show, from the power wise, Miguel's above Robbie. Hawk and Robbie might be around the same level. It can go back and forth. Kenny, without a technique, could beat these guys. Well, we don't know because he tried on Robbie. It hurt Robbie, but then he was jumping with 3 other people. He still wasn't able to take him down, and Miguel came in to help him out. So we don't know, but yeah, he has that technique That technique is very deadly. The fact that it punctures through the the chest. Sam, I'm pretty sure, is stronger than Tori, but I think they're fine now. They don't really need to fight each other anymore. But when we're talking about Terry Silver is definitely on the upper echelon of power. He beat Johnny, who was able to handle Kreese until he fell back from him, and then Kreese started taking advantage of that. He beat Daniel fair and square, so it shows that because Daniel and Johnny are on the even level, Dan might be a little bit above, but still they're on even level, so he can beat them both. And Chosen beat him. So basically, the way I put the power, and not including the second rematch where he Daniel won, it would basically be Johnny, Daniel a little bit above him, Terry Silver well above Daniel, and Chosen a little bit above Terry Silver, because he did beat him. He could have ended him, but he didn't. So I would give that to Chosen to win. It's just that he took opportunity of a bad situation, kind of like what happened with Robbie and Miguel. And Daniel, when he got like his second win, was able to beat him. So I guess you can say powered up Daniel LaRusso is stronger than Terry Silver. So powered up Daniel LaRusso is on the level of Chosen. But then again, we could say maybe Silver wasn't as aggressive. But yeah. That was crazy. So I like that. We finally got Robbie's cool with his dad. Miguel is cool with the whole situation. I love how Robbie didn't mess with him. He's like, so is this how your father teach somebody like a father? He's like, oh. He's like, no, I'm messing with you. So that was cool. So what the fuck am I saying? Sam and Tori got pretty fine. The other girl that was on there, it seems like they got well now too. It seems like all the people that had some problem is fine. The only people that I would see that don't have still are looking like eye to eye is Daniel's son and Kenny. I think Kenny still has a little bit of animosity towards him, but Daniel's son is definitely he's gotten over that whole stuff. But yeah, this season was amazing. I know I missed out a lot. I know I didn't mention a lot of stuff. I will be making multiple videos in the future of this season because this season was amazing. I'll be making, sorry for that. I'll be making theory videos for what's going to happen in the future because this show, it's just gone crazy. This season was the best. It had all this stuff. It had so much in it. I can't even talk about everything that, happened this season. It's just so much to, memorize and stuff. But yeah, the beginning was really great, the middle was great, the ending was great. The way they went with it was really interesting. Seeing all these characters come together, work together. See Stingray, manning up and owning to what happened and fixing the problem. But you can understand why he was scared and stuff. Terry Silver was a very big threat. They took him down. John Kreese is now out. We have this new other villain. Who's gonna happen? We have a big new tournament coming up. We're gonna see who's gonna be in this tournament, how it's gonna go. All these characters got better. I also do like when, Hawk was fighting against, what's his name, Kenny. He's like, I'm gonna beat his ass to Rob. He's like, don't worry, I'm gonna beat his ass. And Rob's like, hey, look, man, I know he has some problems, but it's not his fault. It's Cobra Kai. You know what it does to people. You know what it's done to us. And you can see a little bit on Hawk's face, like, oh, he went from more like antagonizing him to be like, I still don't agree with what he's doing, but I can see where he's coming from. So that's the thing I like about the season is everybody had a different perspective and change. You got like Sam finding out that Robbie came in to help her brother out to save him from Kenny. So she's like, oh, he does still care. And then you see Sam finding out about Tori's situation, so she understands where she's coming from. Now Hawk is also finding out like, hey, my situation and his are the same, so we shouldn't be fighting. So all these characters understand each other better. That's the thing I like. Season 3 really messed it up with all these misunderstandings. Season 4 kind of like tried to avoid it, and then season 5 they really made amends with a lot of these situations, which I really liked. But I don't think the show can last that much longer. I think maybe 2 more seasons, maybe 6 or 7 seasons, and then they'll be done because there's no more you can add to the story, and I don't think they should. I think that should be good enough. 6, 7 seasons is good enough to fully wrap up this whole story. But I'm really liking all these characters are getting better, They're all getting back together and stuff, Like I said, I'll be making more videos. I just don't know what topics I want to talk about when it comes to Cobra Kai. But yeah, Amazing season, absolutely amazing season. Chosen MVP once again. Great. I love Mike Barnes' character in this. He came in like, oh, I'm better, and then he's like, man, I'm not a little bitch. I'm gonna beat his ass. So that I like that. And then I like John's like, yeah, what the fuck? That's one thing I really want to see. I really wanted to see, Mike Barnes, Johnny, and Chosen's interactions with each other. I love that, Johnny and Chosen could like they felt like that they were similar, and I like the competition that they had between each other. He's like, yeah, I fought him and stuff like that. He's like, I tried to kill him and I had this. He's like, he saved a girl from this. He's like, this happened. So I was like, yeah. So they knew that they had a lot of things in common. The way they treated, what they dealt with Daniel and stuff, and how they got better, and that now they found out that Daniel's not a bad guy. It's just different circumstances and stuff. So I like that. And he even mentioned, he went up to Dan. He's like, man, he's like, Chosen's a really good guy. He's like, he's a good guy. No, he's better than that. He's an amazing guy. Because yeah, Chosen went above and beyond. He was the entire time he was just like, I want to protect you. I want to protect your family. I'm not letting any harm come to your family. He even threatened Silver multiple times, like, stay away from his family. Don't cross the line, I swear. And then seeing Mike Barnes and them, and I love how Dan's like, no, let's not attack them. And they're like, let's go. Because they're the three quintessential bad boys. He's the karate badass. Johnny considered himself the karate badass. Bad kid, and Chosen, he was just a savage. I love his like, they're like, let's do this, yeah, let's work together. Like, I like the way you think, and then he's like, Chosen, don't do it. He's like, we gotta take their heads off. Come on, let's do it. I love that because they're so similar with their personalities. They have the more hardcore edge to them, and they're more like willing to do like more aggressive stuff. But yeah, that was just funny, that scene between them. I just wish Mike Barnes had more of a fight scene in the thing. He got taken out for quite a while when he got hit in the back of the head. He did help save Johnny in the ending, but still, I would have rather seen him like there quite a bit. And Chosen's fight, he got screwed over. I still think that out of all the characters in this show, Chosen is the most skilled martial artist. I still think he's even more powerful than Daniel. Yes, Daniel beat him, but he would have beaten him by himself earlier when he was fully untouched. But also, Chosen could have gotten stronger too if he wasn't blindsided with like a sword slash in the back. And he was taking cuts. He got his arm cut, his leg cut, and his back cut, and he came back. So yeah, Chosen, I would definitely put Chosen in the top level. If we're doing like a scaling of like the martial arts characters, like the adults, I would put Chosen at the top, Terry Silver right below him, Daniel, Johnny, and then John Kreese. John Kreese would be the lowest level. But the Daniel and Terry Silver can go either way. If Daniel's pissed off enough, he can pass Terry Silver. But if Terry Silver is able to end it fast, he will be above him. But I think definitively Chosen is the highest. And even Daniel can see he respects him and stuff. He's like, this guy's really good. So yeah, I also love how he taught the other kids. Seeing the kids interaction with Chosen was very interesting. It was very cool. So yeah, that's it for the season that I have for this review. I will be dropping out more Cobra Kai videos. I will also be doing UFC fights and stuff, breakdowns on them and what happened and stuff. Definitely, especially in October when the Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira fight comes, and that UFC event is going to be also amazing as a whole. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.